This is a sewing frame. It's a tool that you use to bind together signatures or booklets of paper when doing bookbinding. Now, I've just completed a building plan for this project, so if you want to make your own sewing frame, this will make the process so much easier, and I have a link to that in the description. And that's why I want to make this video, to go over my building plan and go over this project. How do you make it? How do you use a sewing frame? As well as some interesting information I found out about it. Okay, take a look at this. See the ridges on the ends of these leather books? These ones may be true or false, I don't know. But an old book made in a real way would have had these ridges, and underneath it would have had cords, which the leather would be molded around, thereby creating this shape. And the cords would have been used to sew the book together using a sewing frame. This was the golden standard of bookbinding. Because the cords are an integral part of the book structure, the books made in this manner are very durable. And here's the fun fact, sometimes fake cords were added to mimic this traditional method because it's so highly regarded. Now just think about that, people tried to imitate this technique in a fake way just because people back then knew that this method was the strongest and the most durable way to make a book. These days people just like the look because it's so classic. And you know what? I bet these ones are fake. But we're going to go over the tool you need to make it real. So here's the plan that I have available for this project. It includes everything that you need to know in order to make this frame. I actually have two methods of construction for several of these parts here. One, regular woodworking tools for making the base and the paddle, and also CNC. So if you have access to a CNC, I've included SVG files so you can cut out all the parts if you want to do that. So the mechanics of this frame is very simple. We have a base, we have two wooden screws, and then we have two nuts here that you can bring up or down. And then on top of these nuts we have this paddle that is resting, and there's no threads on the inside of here. It just holds, it just rests. And you can raise or lower this bar here by bringing it up or down. Now, inside the paddle here, we have a groove cut out. And then inside these grooves, we have these eye hooks with a wing nut on top. And basically, this is just resting here, and you can bring these eye hooks up or down. When bookbinding, you connect cord or tape to these eye hooks. Now there's a groove cut in the board here where you bring down the cord and you connect the cord to one of these metal keys. Now you look at this and you say there's two grooves here. This was just an extra one that we did as a test. You can ignore that one. This is the one that is needed. So this is a classic way of making a book. It's not like the way modern book production is done today. In fact, guess who had one of these in their homes? Well, William Morris, Jane Austen, George Washington, Florence Nightingale. They're just some of the historical figures who were into bookbinding. So how is this frame created? We cut out the base using a CNC machine, and included in the plan there's a vectric file if you want to cut out the sections using this method. Now I know most people don't have access to a CNC, so I have included detailed instructions on how to create the base and the paddle in other ways using regular woodworking equipment. Now the key aspect of this tool are the wooden screws. You don't have to use wooden screws, you could use large metal bolts instead if you'd prefer. These are made using a 1.5 inch tap and die set. 1.5 inch is about the largest tap and die set you can readily buy. I bought this set from Amazon, and I'll put a link to one in the description. It's kind of neat to be able to make screws out of any wood. There's one thing about this, you really want to use hardwood for the screws. We have done tests making screws with framing lumber, which is not a good idea because the threads just break. The wood is not strong enough to hold up over time. And even creating the threads in the first place can be a challenge if you use softwood. So you definitely want to use oak or maple or beech or something along those lines. So we need to make the threads on dowels, or round pieces of wood. And then we also need inside threads on the nuts, as well as inside the board here where the screws screw into to assemble. So in many ways, you don't need a lot of things to build this project. Obviously, you need wood, a tap and die set, and some eye hooks, and that's basically the main thing. To use the frame, we first set up the cords by tying it to the hooks, and then using these metal keys to wrap the cord around it and fitting it inside the groove. This can be a little finicky before you get the hang of it. And you want this taut, which is why we have two methods of getting them tight. Either by tightening all of them at the same time, by moving the nuts, or tightening them individually, which sometimes is necessary if you don't get them all set up the same. We have our signatures ready, usually 4 pieces of paper folded, with our holes already pierced or cut. I used a saw to cut all these holes out. You can also use an awl. And we start with the first signature. Bring in the needle from the outside to the side here. And this side does not have a cord. Then we bring the needle inside and out around the cord and repeat throughout. Now I'm working on a large book here, which is why I have 4 cords. Often it's enough with 3. Then the last hole again, no cord, but it's what we're going to use to tie the next signature together. And we add another one, go in through the hole and repeat the process. When we come to the third signature, we go through the motion again, and now we can connect these ends together by sewing a kettle stitch. So this is to reinforce the stitching further. So the book is connected through all the cords and also through the sides here, which connect to the previous section. In between stitching, we pat it down with a bone folder to keep everything neat and not too bulky. We continue throughout all our signatures using the same technique. If we run out of thread, we tie on a new piece and it will be hidden inside here. And you could create as thick a book as you'd like using this technique. You have a lot of space. This book can also be quite large or small. There's a lot of flexibility here. Then once you finish up your last signature, you tie it off and now you have your booklet, which you ideally put into your press. I have a building plan of this book press as well. And now you're ready to trim the pages, round the spine if you want, and integrate these cords into the book boards, which make the covers of the book, which in turn you can cover in book fabric or leather or whatever you want. Now this is why this is such a strong technique. The cords are literally sewn into the covers. So it's not a separate glued on section of the book, which is, you know, the way modern books are made. It's all connected in a very real way. So if you're making a book that you know that you will close and open many times, then this is an excellent way to construct it. This book, for example, which is what I was working on here, is a blank notebook right now, but I'm going to turn this into my recipe book, my family heirloom food book, if you will, where I'm going to transfer all of the recipes that I create and our favorites. And so basically, more or less every time I bake or sometimes cook, I will literally open this book. So I wanted something that was really strong and that would hold up to thousands of times being opened and closed and just, you know, used for many years to come. Now you may wonder when you first look at this, like, when did this come to be? How old is this? Well, the sewing frame actually dates back to the 1st century AD, when bookbinders needed a way to tie together their codices. So this technique, this concept has been around a long time. And over the centuries, the sewing frames evolved, significantly. And by the 15th century, when the printing press came about, sewing frames became more standardized and essential in bookbinding shops across Europe. Now, the Gutenberg Bible was one of the earliest major books printed using movable type, and it features binding techniques that would have required tools similar to a sewing frame. Another famous book made this way was the Codex Leicester, a notebook by Leonardo da Vinci. It was bound in the 16th century and shows the evolution of the binding techniques with its robust structure and sewn signatures. You know who I found it interesting to learn was into bookbinding? Was Jane Austen. So apparently before she was published, she bound together a volume of her collected kind of plays and stories and poems that she had written, and she called these her juvenilia. She bound and sewed that work together using, something very similar to this. Then we also have George Washington was into bookbinding, as was Thomas Jefferson, which I was not surprised about considering the scope of his, in his work. Then we also have Florence Nightingale, who's a famous nurse. she wrote extensively on nursing and healthcare, and she bound together all of her writing herself into these homemade books using, equipment like this. So it's kind of interesting when you think about these people through history who either needed a way to bind together their works. Also, like in the case of Thomas Jefferson, I know he used bookbinding equipment to repair and restore old books as well for their library. So if you want to become a part of this historical group of people and make your own sewing frame, well, actually I doubt most of them made their own sewing frame. Most of them just used one. So this is even neater. Then make sure to check out my building plan that goes over all of the steps in creating this kind of project. I also have a detailed plan of this book press if you're interested in that. I'm working on all the plans for my bookbinding equipment, so I have a plan for the book press, very detailed. This is one of my favorite projects. I'm also currently working on a plan for the vise and the book plow, so that is my next one coming up. And with these 3 tools, you are really set for doing most bookbinding tasks. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you soon.